Yo, what is good, YouTube? It is boy Info with the info in the building. You are advised what you should like, comment, def subscribe, bro. But today we're back at it again with another hood classic for you niggas. You feel what I'm saying? We got Nick Crowley, the YouTube's darkest videos 8. Y'all love these here on the channel. The last one did pretty well, so you know I gotta come back with another one for you. You know what I'm saying? But make sure y'all go show love to Nick Crowley. Sub up to his video, show his video some love. He makes a lot of great content, a lot of spooky content. Feel me? And you're gonna see him a lot more all over the channel. But without any further ado, hold on, let me open my G Hub app right quick. Just so my mic can be primed and shit. One quick second. One quick second. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna have my editor edit all this out. If you don't know, all my videos are edited by Flight, so this is all gonna be edited out. All right, let's do it.
It was 2:40.
What did I just say? Anybody with epilepsy, please?
It was 2:46 p.m. when the ground began to shake.
Ooh, shit.
For residents of Anagawa, Japan, earthquakes were nothing new, but this one was different.
Dog, what the fuck? Bro, that's why I'm kind of glad I live in Florida. I'm gonna keep this shit all the way a stack with you. Like, yeah, the hurricanes is a problem, but they only really come like maybe once a year. I mean, we just had two, but you feel what I'm saying? It's really just only a rare occasion. But like Flight Reacts just be in his crib. You feel? Dang, you be chilling. Dog, I don't want to deal with that. I'm not trying to. Oh, you see the earthquake, guys? I'm not with that, bro. I could never live in no state
It carried
that
with it
has
a
like
violence that none of the locals had ever felt before.
often hurricanes or tornadoes. Fuck that. I'm not gonna lie. Fuck Kentucky.
It carried with
all
it a
that
violence
shit.
that
Hell
none
no.
of the locals had ever felt before. And by the time the shaking had stopped, everyone in the city seemed to be left in a momentary state of shock. This was especially true for the nearly 160 Chinese workers and students that had recently moved to the area, with most having never experienced any earthquake, let alone one of this magnitude. Of these workers were a tight-knit group of 20 women, who had recently been hired as trainees at a company called Sato Susan, a company that sold fresh seafood. And having been at work at the time of the quake,
Right. How much do they pay them an hour? Let's just focus on what's important. How much are they getting paid an hour? What y'all think in the chat? They probably getting paid 3.5 yen an hour to work in that weak ass store. And then they got to deal with hurricanes and shit like that too. Shout out to all my Japanese warriors.
they frantically ran out of the building and stood in the street, desperately trying to figure out what to do next, unaware of the fact that the real horrors were still yet to come.
Another one?
In Japan, it's not just the earthquakes you have to worry about, but
Tsunamis?
the tsunamis that often follow. And usually, the bigger the earthquake, the
bigger the
wave.
tsunami.
And given that Anagawa was right on the sea, and Sato Susan was directly on the shoreline, these women were now standing directly in the path of an impending disaster. Thankfully, their boss, Mitsuro Sato, was well aware of what was to come, and quickly he yelled to the women to seek higher ground. But given their unfamiliarity with the area, Sato knew that he would have to be the one to lead them there. The group readily listened, and they quickly followed Sato as he led them up a set of stairs on a
Shout out
nearby
Sato,
hill,
he a
where
hero.
They eventually reached a shrine that overlooked Anagawa and the sea. It was the highest point in the area, and should keep them safe from what would likely be a massive influx of water. And sure enough, as they neared the top, Sato's fears were already coming true. As the sea had drastically retreated, it was now beginning to push forward. And things were only going to get worse from here.
I can't, bro. That's so scary, bro. Like, world catastrophes like that are so scary because there's literally nothing you can do about it, bro. You can't leave the country or the state. You feel me? Because everything is down. You can't unless you just leave like days before, unless it's one of them ones where you know days before that it's gonna happen. But most of the time, earthquakes just be on the spot. You randomly just, you feel what I'm saying? And I'm not with that. So shout out to all the people who deal with that, bro. Like
Understanding this,
them
it
hurricanes,
wasn't a
bro. I
deterrent
mean
for
them
Sato,
tornadoes that
as
I
once he
seen in
deemed the altitude safe enough for this
in the
group of
Midwest,
women,
bro.
He then turned around and began
The
to
United
walk
States.
back down the hill towards the slowly flooding city. The girls yelled at him, asking where he was going, which is when he revealed that down below in his home in Anagawa were his wife and his daughter, who were now directly in the path of this unfolding disaster, and he was going to save them. The girls screamed out to him, begging him not to go, as things had already become incredibly dangerous, but he didn't so much as turn his head as he stepped down onto the street and disappeared from their view.
Oh my god.
And it was at this time that one of those girls standing high atop the hill began to record.
Oh my fucking god, bro. Holy shit.
All my life, family has been super important to me. I love my family, but
Shout out to Ryan.
I also realized I don't know much about them.
I damn
At
near
least
want to
outside-
watch this ad because of how goated he is, but
came from
oh
Ireland.
damn.
Basketball.
Hey.
It was awesome to find pictures of my
Oh,
grandkids.
never mind. I thought he kept it
And all
short and
this
sweet.
start with
He did keep it short and sweet though. That wasn't a long ad at all. That was like 20, 30 seconds, probably. Shout out to my heritage for passing my boy Ryan that bad. You feel what I'm saying?
the footage shows
Get
that
your
the
coin, my
shoreline
nigga.
was no more, as the water had inundated the entire area as it slowly crept its way deeper and deeper into the city streets. The women were understandably in a panic, trying to make sense of
I
this.
ain't gonna lie, panic in other languages sometimes be so funny. Like, have you, or like even different accents? Like, have you seen that video of that dude who was like about to go bungee jumping? The Indian dude, right? And he was like, triple check, triple, triple. That shit is the funniest shit ever. I'm not gonna lie, bro. First time I seen that, bro.
That they were now given a front row seat to, and as they
Rolling
record,
on the
we can
floor,
hear them
nigga.
desperately calling out for Sato. But at no point do we see him. We just know that he's down there, somewhere. And as the desperation in their pleas increases, so too does the fury of the water.
Look at that. That's a car that's getting pushed back. That's somebody's car, bro. Wow, bro.
They could only
Bro,
walk.
if I ever hear that in real life, bro, I'm putting a gun in my mouth, bro. If I ever hear these sirens, no, bro. No, don't play that when I'm panicking, bro. What, like, no, I'm not trying to hear that. Shit, I know what's going on. If you sleep during a hurricane and a monsoon, you just a dumbass. I ain't gonna lie. If you sleep throughout the whole hurricane and you sleep throughout the tsunami that followed the hurricane, you deserve to be gone. I ain't gonna lie. You need a nigga. It look like it's about 8 p.m., bro, or not even. It look like 5.
They could only watch as
Foe.
Anagawa, as they knew it, was completely eviscerated.
That nigga's a hero though for going out in them conditions to go get his family. I feel him though. That's his wife and his kid. You feel what I'm saying? Ain't too many people in the world that mean more than that.
And by this point, they realized that there was now essentially no hope for Sato.
Facts. That
It was
nigga's
at this
on.
time that the women realized that despite already being at a considerable height, it still might not be enough. And so they ran
What?
even higher up the hill, desperately trying to get out of the path of this water.
Dog, if water gets hills height, what are you even supposed to do? I'ma just get me a
And as they did
straw
so,
and start
They
drinking.
noticed something down below.
Everybody take a sip, man.
Standing on a rooftop in the middle of this massive tsunami
Sato.
was Mitsuro Sato. The building that he stood on was once a full 2 stories off the ground, but was now just a few inches above the surface of the water.
Dog. He's gonna get on top of the chimney? Bro, this nigga is like...
The women again call out to him, this time even more frantically. But at this point, it was no use.
He can't do nothing.
And when the camera is taken off Sato for just a split second, we can hear just from the women's reaction the exact moment that he swept away.
Oh my god, that is fucking gut-wrenching.
The recording stops shortly after and restarts minutes later, revealing that the streets where the women had been standing just moments before were now fully underwater, and the buildings that once stood around them were now reduced to nothingness. In front of them was a sea of death, and had Mitsudo Sato not led them up that hill,
they
all of
would have
these
died.
women would have certainly been a part of it.
They would have died. Wow. That's a fucking hero, my nigga. That's a hero. He led his workers to safety. He could have said, fuck them workers. I'm going to get my family first and go up here. But he made sure they were straight before he made sure he was straight. He died trying to make sure his family was okay.
It was March 11th, 2011, a day where Japan had been hit by its most devastating earthquake ever, with it ringing in at a magnitude 9.0, which in turn caused the nation's...
My nigga, 9? See what I'm saying? No, I'm good, bro.
Worst
I'm
ever
good.
Tsunami, as that day, 19,759 people would lose their lives.
Oh my fucking...
With Mitsudo Sato,
oh my fucking god. I was finna say, you think it's possible anybody can survive? They know how to swim, but I was thinking like there's probably too much debris in the water, and the water probably too dirty for... But damn, 20K people, bro? Wow,
bro. 159 people would lose
Is that the
lives.
biggest, like, catastrophe to kill?
Being one of them. But against all odds, his wife and daughter were not part of that death toll, as it's been reported that they were later found alive and unharmed. The devastation that occurred that day is incomprehensible.
Wow.
And all the footage
so that nigga, I don't know if he had something to do with it, but damn. I was thinking like, my bad, my chair was making noise. I was thinking like, what if his kids and his wife were already like taken to safety and he low-key went down there for no reason?
This disaster could warrant a place in this video, especially the footage of Anagawa, as you can see what it looked like before, during, and after.
Wow, bro. Wow, bro. Wow. Lord Jesus, bro.
But what I found so interesting about this was all throughout this disaster were stories like Sato's, a man who risked his life to save 20 women that he hardly knew, and a man who gave his life trying to save his family, walking directly into the path of the worst natural disaster in modern Japanese history, all in an attempt to save the ones that he loved. And I honestly find it quite beautiful that afterwards, these women adamantly shared his story and made sure that the world forever remembered Mitsudo Sato as the hero that he was. And of those 160 Chinese migrants who worked in the area, it was later reported that not a single one of them perished, which speaks volumes about the people of Anagawa, who so readily put others' lives before their own.
That's crazy. In America, that would have never happened.
Fire marshal is investigating a blaze in Georgetown. 2 people found dead inside the home, and so far it's not known how the fire started.
Chapter 2, the man in the garage? Who is this black nigga that I seen on
5:30 a.m. on the 17th of February
in a thumbnail
when residents of a small neighborhood in Georgetown, Ontario were woken by the sound of sirens blaring.
Ontario, that's California, right? I mean,
residents of a small neighborhood in Georgetown,
Toronto.
Ontario were woken by the sound of sirens blaring.
Not Toronto.
One man frantically grabbed his cell phone and rushed outside to record the unfolding scene, where he was met with a horrific sight. His neighbor's home was fully engulfed in flames.
Wow.
It must have happened quickly, as by the time rescue workers even arrived on the scene, there was already little hope of saving the house, or any of its occupants. It would take hours before that blaze was finally quelled, revealing the charred devastation inside, as firefighters would find the remains of 56-year-old Christina Rirak and 59-year-old Andrew Rirak within the home's garage. The cause of this fire was
Yeah, that's
initially
right by
unknown,
Toronto.
but quickly the situation was deemed suspicious when experts determined that the fire had started as a result of some sort of explosion that had happened within the garage where the couple's bodies were found. This was later confirmed by security footage obtained from a neighbor who lived across the street, capturing the moments when it suddenly ignited around 5:27. A neighbor who lived across the street.
Dog. What?
This was later confirmed by security footage obtained from a neighbor who
My nigga.
lived
5:30 a.m.
across the street.
Hey,
Capturing the
garage
moments
just
when it
blew
suddenly
up.
ignited
Car
around
right there.
5:27 a.m. There was clearly something off with this case, and things only became more sinister following the autopsies of Andrew and Christina, which revealed that they hadn't actually died in that fire, and instead, both of them had been stabbed to death. With Andrew
Oh my gosh. So this nigga killed his parents and then killed himself by blowing the house up. Some people, I swear, some niggas just have main character syndrome. Like, niggas want to go out with a bang so bad, my nigga. Like, what are we doing, bro? Bro, if you ever even thought about killing your parents or hurting your parents, bro, you ain't gonna lie, you a bitch ass nigga, bro. Like, life is never that hard to where you need to take away the people who take the gift of life away from the people who gave you the gift of life. You feel what I'm saying? Who provide, not only just gave you the gift of life, provided for you. You feel what I'm saying? Put clothes on your back, put shoes on your feet. You feel what I'm saying? No matter what y'all may go through, it's like for you to kill your parents, bro.
Also
stab
being
them.
badly beaten. This fire wasn't death, with Andrew also being badly beaten. This fire wasn't started to kill them. It was started to cover up their murder.
Yeah.
And it did a good job of it too, as the scene was now left completely destroyed, with very little evidence being left behind. But there was something else investigators thought to check.
This is literally some game shit. Like, a nigga just strike a match, throw it behind him, and the house just magically light on fire. Like, you feel what I'm saying?
That's security footage. The camera had been facing the garage where all of this carnage seemed to have happened, and so they thought maybe if they looked back far enough, it could at the very least show what had led up to this brutal attack. And so they rewound that footage, going back hours and hours, during all of which the garage had remained perfectly still, until they got all the way back to 6:42 of the day prior, February 16th.
Okay, so it was also a vehicle in the garage. That's probably got a full tank of gas in that motherfucker. Like, bro, this nigga Nick Crowley, bro, this nigga can make anything creepy. This is just a video. This is a video of a car pulling into a garage. I mean, yeah, context, but it's like, bro, he making this shit look so creepy, dog.
The film showed the moments that the couple had arrived home together inside of Christina's car, which Andrew had been driving that night, as he pulled uneventfully into the garage. This was the last time this couple was seen alive on camera, which on its own is disturbing enough.
Facts.
But as it turns out,
216.
there was something far more unsettling about this footage, as it revealed the fact that Christina and Andrew weren't alone.
What you mean? Nigga, what the fuck? Oh, hell no, man. Bro, that nigga, bro. Imagine you pulling up your car. You just got off, you know what I'm saying? You just got done having dinner with your little vibe, your little shawty, you feel what I'm saying? Y'all finna go back to the crib, you know what I'm saying? You already know what time it is, you feel me? Bro, I'm dumping a gin in this nigga face, I'm not gonna lie. The fifth generation is being dumped in this nigga face. I'm not gonna lie. They don't got no safety on it. It's a Glock. Trust me, I know. More on that in the future. More on that in the future. Bro, that's this nigga creep. This nigga was. I didn't see this nigga the whole time. Like, creeping on the side of the house in all black, like these, waiting for them to pull in. That's crazy. He chilling like these, with the knife like these. I would have popped him, bro. I swear to God. I swear on my mama, bro. Like, come around here, bro. They know not to do this shit in America or all that goofy shit, bro. Like, a nigga, bro. A nigga hit your ass with that switch.
The footage showed a tall figure, its features completely shrouded in darkness, almost as if it were a shadow, with this figure lying in wait out of sight on the side of the house.
Dog,
until right
that's
after
so
Andrew
wild.
pulls the car into the garage, when this person slips in behind them. It's impossible to say for sure if the couple noticed this person or not, but it appears that they likely didn't, as they both start to exit the vehicle, to which the figure then ducks down in an attempt to avoid detection.
What are they both on a... What?
Until the garage door begins
What?
an attempt to avoid...
Bro, hell no. What do you mean the couple? Why is she not getting out of the passenger side?
As they both start to exit the vehicle.
What? Is she in the back seat?
It appears that they likely didn't, as they both start to exit the vehicle, to which the figure then ducks down in an attempt to...
Imagine you get in the back seat on some goofy shit. Oh, I'll never ride back here. I'm gonna get back here. And this happens. This would have all been avoided if somebody was in the passenger seat. Wow, dog.
To avoid detection.
Bro, I'm seeing this nigga and I'm dumping the gin through both windows in this nigga mouth. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm seeing this nigga. Wow.
Until the garage door begins to slowly
This
close.
nigga really got low.
Either Christina or Andrew would make it out of that garage alive, as just seconds after this footage, they both would be brutally murdered by this unidentified person. The footage is terrifying and speaks to that innate fear in most of us, the fear of being followed, of being watched, and attacked in the moments where we least expect it.
Gin,
It's
bro.
paranoia-inducing, and made even more off-putting by the fact that this clearly seemed to be premeditated.
Clearly.
Whoever this was knew their schedule and had been waiting.
He's sitting behind. Oh, shit. Like, he chilling like these, bro. Like,
for them to arrive home, in a place where they knew they wouldn't be seen. But by this point, their motivation was as unknown as their identity.
wow.
Following
bro.
the discovery of this footage, bits and pieces were released to the press in order to get the public's help in identifying this unknown assailant. It represented a rare instance of a killer being clearly caught on camera right before committing a crime. But that's also what made this case so frustrating, as despite the video capturing this person, none of their features were discernible at all.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, the footage didn't bring in any relevant leads, but it at the very least showed investigators that whoever this person was knew the couple, due to its obvious premeditation. Though when looking
Facts.
into both Andrew and Christina, it
That's
was clear
great,
that
though. That's crazy, though, because, like, the fact that you knew their schedule, it just shows that you knew who they were. It narrows it down from about 8 billion people to probably about 100. Feel what I'm saying?
neither of them really had any enemies in their life, with the exception of one. Harrison Brown was a 27-year-old employee at a company called Rogue Transportations, of which Christina happened to be the vice president of operations. And during his time there, Harrison was known to be abrasive and combative, with Christina often having to be the one to reprimand him, leading to Harrison resenting her. It isn't clear how police were tipped off about this strained working relationship.
I don't understand that. Bro, that is your boss, bro. She's gonna have to reprimand you, bro. She don't want to do that shit. You think she want to come to work and deal with your little goofy ass every day? Being a little bitch at 27 years old, bro. You clearly a little bitch. You ain't call out the nigga hands. You ain't even try to get in no physical altercation with him. You snuck up behind him and snuck him with a knife. You's a bitch. Plain and simple. And then
But they
burn
had
the house
somehow grown
down.
suspicious enough of Harrison to pay his home a visit, and what they found inside showed that this resentment he had towards Christina had actually morphed into a twisted obsession.
Oh, they got what they
Grown
got
suspicious enough of Harrison to pay his home a visit, and what they
got
found
a warrant?
inside showed that this resentment he had towards Christina had actually morphed into a twisted obsession. Inside, police found satellite images of the Rerack's home, along with the software on the man's computer and cell phone that showed that on the 12th of February, he had secretly attached a tracking device to Christina's car.
This nigga put an air tag. This Negro put an air tag on their car. GG's, buddy. Lock him up for 197 years.
And he had been tracking her movements for days, which is precisely how he knew when she would be
home. Exactly.
And as if this revelation wasn't damning enough, they would also find a broken knife in his garage that contained trace amounts of Christina's blood. It was obvious what Harrison had done.
You're gonna go through all of this work to kill somebody and burn the house down to cover your tracks. And in your house, you just have a blood... Bro, wash it! Burn that too! You have gloves on. I would have left that there. I would have washed it and put it in a Tupperware, nigga. Fuck is you talking about? I would have cleaned it off, washed it, went in their crib. You don't know if they got cameras in there. I mean, shit, nigga, you got all of this, what's it called? You about to burn the house down. It don't matter if it's cameras in there. I would have went in there, washed it, and put that shit in a Tupperware section, bro. No cap. Put that shit in the dishwasher. Burn the house down. They not gonna be checking they dishes. They dishwasher. Why he's just laying in his crib, bro. Bro, that's in an ocean, bro. Nobody's ever seen that knife ever again. It'd be like they trying to get caught, bro. I'm getting all that software off my computer. Deleted. I'm throwing the computer away. All of this dirty work I'm doing is on a dummy HP laptop that I got from Walmart for $120. You feel what I'm saying? That's where I'm doing all my dirty. All that air tag shit is on there. And then it's in the water with the knife too, in a different lake. Niggas don't be thinking, dog. Like, bro, if I do a crime like this, bro, I'm covering every single track possible, my nigga. Like,
and when confronted with this evidence,
wow,
there was nothing more he could say other than the truth. So he admitted he had grown a hatred for Christina because of the way that she had treated him at work. And he decided that he needed to get his...
I'm gonna give this nigga the chair, bro. Like, who the fuck raised these niggas, bro? Just because you're mad or you don't like somebody goes about, or you don't like the way somebody goes about some shit, I don't mean you kill them and their husband and burn their house down, bro. Like, you didn't think that was a bit extreme, bro? Get a new fucking job, you bum ass nigga.
His revenge. That's when he purchased this tracking device and began obsessing over her movements, studying them before finding the perfect time and place to strike. And on February 16th, he waited outside the Rear-X home and snuck into their garage before attacking and killing them both. After the assault, Harrison would leave the home, where he began to grow paranoid about being caught, and so he returned to the house the very next morning to start that fire, with the hopes being that the
wow. So, okay. He didn't even set the house on fire at first. He was just gonna leave all that shit there.
Caught, and so he returned to the house the very next morning.
That was probably the smartest shit he ever did.
The hopes being that the blaze would cover up his tracks. Though thankfully, this didn't work. And after pleading guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of arson, Harrison Brown would be sentenced to life in prison.
Life in prison. Me personally, I'm giving that nigga the chair and I'm making his family watch. Them niggas gotta pay for tickets. If you don't pay for it, you subpoena to that event. I don't give a fuck, nigga. You paying for that shit too, bitch ass nigga. I don't get no fucks. Put that bitch on your CC if you ain't got no money. Hell no. You raised the bitch, whoever son that is. Officer Feaster's dash cam. This is November 25th,
2015. Police officer Patrick Feaster sits in his cruiser parked alongside the road in the town of Paradise, California, waiting for his first action of this uncharacteristically quiet. In the town of Paradise, Police officer Patrick Feaster sits in his cruiser parked alongside the road in the town of Paradise, California, waiting for his first action of this uncharacteristically quiet night. His car was facing the direction of a well-known local cantina, which patrons were known to drive away from under the influence. And
what is a cantina? Where is that?
Local cantina, which patrons were known to...
What is a cantina? What is that? Like, let me get like a definition. Fuck, man. Cantina appears to be a brand name used for several different products, and a tequila brand. Mm. So it don't really mean shit. Thanks. All right.
To drive away from under the influence.
Shot,
And
shot,
sure
shot,
enough, as the
shot,
clock
shot,
approached
shot,
midnight,
shots.
the calmness around
It's like,
Feaster
bro, it's Thanksgiving, bro. Go be with your family. You out drinking at a cantina, bro. I know y'all got kids in y'all family. You feel me? Like, go to somebody's house, bro. All this shit could have been
was shattered
avoided.
by the sight of a car speeding out of the restaurant's parking lot.
Wait. Where
Speeding out of the restaurant's parking lot. The car went unseen by Feaster's dashcam, but not by Feaster himself, as he took off, doing his best to catch up with the car that was now speeding down the road. And within a few seconds, he does. As the car slowly comes into frame for the first time. Inside that vehicle was 26-year-old Andrew Thomas and his ex-wife, 23-year-old Darian Aaron. Andrew had been drinking heavily that night and was well over the legal limit, with his driving showing as much as he failed to pull over once Feaster approached him, resulting in a police chase that would only end up lasting just a few seconds.
All 20, Ozzy, roll over TC, Pearson, just east of Black Olive.
Copy, roll over TC, east of Black
Code
Olive.
3.
As Andrew would drive his car directly into a median, causing the SUV to flip over violently before coming to a halt on its side.
Dog, I couldn't even
SUV to
see it.
flip over violently before coming to a halt by his car.
I was like,
directly
nigga, is it snowing? It's not funny, but I just seen debris. It looked white. I thought it was like
into a median, causing the
snow
SUV
in
to
the
flip
rain.
over violently
But that's
before coming to a
debris.
halt on
And then
its
it
side.
flipped that way. Okay, and that's the light right there.
In that
Damn.
instant, Darian was ejected from the vehicle, being thrown straight through the windshield and landing onto the asphalt, where, despite still being alive, her injuries were likely unsurvivable. But Andrew, on the other hand, was still inside the vehicle, and he seemed to have been left relatively unharmed, as perhaps
Bro, that fucking nigga should have died. He's drinking and driving. He didn't pull over. It be. It's crazy how God works. He'll show you like that could have been you. You supposed to be dead right now. Cause she didn't do anything. Yeah, she in a car with somebody that's drinking and driving. That's probably not the smartest decision ever. So I guess that's her piece of karma too. But like, that probably affected him so much to where he will never think about doing that anymore ever again because he understands the gratitude.
being boosted by adrenaline, he quickly tried to crawl his way out of the car in a desperate attempt to check on Darian, with Officer Feaster's dashcam capturing the entire ordeal. Though just as Andrew attempted to do so, we see Feaster step into the frame,
Why?
where he suddenly draws his gun and, without saying a single word, fires 2 shots at Andrew.
Why? What? Oh, lock him up. What? Why did he do that? Bro, what an idiot, bro.
Where he suddenly draws his gun and, without saying a single word, fires 2 shots at Andrew, with one of the bullets appearing to strike him, causing his body to go limp as he falls back into the car.
Why did he do that?
It happened in a literal instant, so fast that it's clear Feaster had most likely accidentally discharged his weapon, as there was no attempt at communication before the shot was fired.
Oh, he
with Andrew
accidentally
clearly
discharged
posing
his
no risk
weapon?
to him, as both of his hands were being used to hoist himself up. From the footage, this all seems to be a horrible accident, and one that Feaster seemed to recognize right away, as he rushed up to the car, pointing his flashlight at the man that he had just shot, staring at him for over 10 seconds, trying to make sense of what he had just done,
Oh.
before he finally snaps out of it, and uses his radio to call for backup. Though this is when this already dark video starts to become much more disturbing.
So he did it on act. He was probably just, you know, you don't know what weapon that nigga has. He's drunk. He just tried to get away from you. So he was probably just trying to, oh, okay, you don't have any weapons. Let me see your hands. Okay, all right, we good. Come on, get out the car. And he accidentally fired. I mean, it's like you got to be more. Wow.
I've got an unresponsive female. I got a male in the car refusing to get out.
When Feaster makes this call, he never mentions the shooting, and instead he states that the driver was
refusing to get out
of the vehicle. This is then followed by Feaster walking away from the man and pointing his flashlight to the ground, almost as if he was looking for something.
He was looking for a bullet, shell casing.
Copy. Give your cross on Black Olive.
Pearson.
Copy. Black Olive and Pearson.
With some theorizing that he was looking for
a
shell
casing,
casings.
yeah.
Though right then, another officer arrives on the scene and begins to survey the wreckage.
Just her?
No, there's a male in the car refusing to get out.
Where, again, Feaster says that Andrew was...
Why did he think... Bro, it's on camera. I would have just been like... I'm gonna keep the shit all the way 1,000 with you. I just accidentally killed this man. I'm not gonna lie. You gotta keep it up. It's on camera.
Making no mention of the fact that he had just shot him. It's clear at this point what Feaster was trying to do. He was trying to cover up his accident. But this suddenly became more difficult.
Oh!
He was trying to cover up his accident.
Oh, yeah, that's an accident.
Suddenly
He didn't mean to do that.
More difficult.
Dog. I mean, he shot it twice, though.
He
Like,
was trying to cover up his accident.
it doesn't look purposeful.
But this suddenly became more difficult.
Like, it looks like the first shot, he didn't even get a chance to aim, but that second shot hit him right in his shit.
He was trying to cover
dog.
up his accident. But this suddenly became...
It's like, why even reach for your gun?
more difficult.
Nah, this first shot definitely looks accidental, for surely. Like, it don't even look like he aiming at him right here. Like, you feel me? That don't even look like he aimed. Like, no part of this gun explosion is really aiming at this nigga head. But this second shot hit him right in his shit.
When Andrew started to speak.
Okay, we got one. He's refusing to get out. Get out of the car, sir. You're not shot, sir. Get out of the car.
Andrew Thomas was still alive and had muttered to Feaster that he had been shot. But even to his face, Feaster denies it. Shortly after, Andrew then tries to tell the other cop what had happened.
Sir, come out of the car. This car is still on and I don't want you to get hurt.
Right up. Yeah, I was right there. I saw it.
Did you get shot at the cantina?
No, he shot me. Him.
The cop did not shoot you.
But understandably, this other cop wasn't believing him.
Obviously.
As surely Feaster would have said something at this point.
Right.
And so the minutes start to pass. And after 5 full minutes, Feaster continues processing the scene like nothing had happened, with the other officer being left to theorize that Andrew must have been seriously injured and was likely in a state of shock, which is why he was making all of these strange claims about being shot.
He may be hurt in there. Yeah, I know he is. He's in shock at the very least.
From here, the footage cuts, and we're only left with the audio from that same officer's body cam, as he attempts to get more information from Andrew.
Sir, I need you to talk to me so I know you're okay. Sir, take a look at me. Did you bump your head?
But by this point, he had gone completely silent.
Like, you don't think they're gonna get his body out and see that bullet and match that bullet to your gun? Fuck that. You don't think they're gonna review the footage in your car on your body cam?
10 minutes later, the footage then cuts back on, this time to another officer's body cam, which shows that an ambulance had now finally arrived on the scene, with medics first directing their attention to Darian, who was in the worst shape, as she would tragically be pronounced dead shortly after. But despite all of these first responders on the scene, none of them had any idea that the man inside that vehicle had just been shot, and shot by one of their colleagues. And in these moments, Andrew was slowly losing his life as each minute passed.
I know bro was shitting himself that shot him.
Before Feaster
11
finally
minutes.
confessed.
Sir, you hold this scene. Manny with me. We're going over to the cantina to find out if this guy...
I wasn't even pointing at him. The gun could go off.
saying that he might have shot the man, but he wasn't sure. And immediately after saying this,
Oh my God, are you serious?
No, I mean,
the recording is stopped and the footage comes to an end.
He said, "Oh my fucking God, are you serious?" Why not just say that from the beginning, bro? Like, I would have been in such a panic. I wouldn't even have time to lie. I would have been, I just accidentally, oh my God. Like,
Wasn't sure.
I would have been shitting
And
myself.
immediately after saying this,
Oh my God, are you serious?
no, I mean,
the recording is stopped and the footage comes to an end. Sure enough, in that moment, Officer Patrick Feaster had in fact shot Andrew Thomas, with a bullet striking him directly in the neck.
neck,
The reason why he
bro.
wasn't getting out of his vehicle was because
'cause
that
he
gunshot
couldn't.
had left him fully paralyzed
From the neck down, bro. Wow. Wow, dog. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. Do I think he meant to shoot that nigga? Probably not. But the lying is what got that man killed. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you could have got him 11 more minutes of much needed care and attention from paramedics. Shit, he could have even got to the hospital in 11 minutes, depending where they're at.
His condition was awful and made worse by the length of time that it took for him to receive proper treatment. And despite fighting for weeks, Andrew Thomas would lose his life less than 1 month later due to that gunshot wound. Afterwards, Feaster admitted that he did fire his gun, but claimed that in the moment he wasn't actually sure if he had hit Andrew. But many found this hard to believe.
'Cause he
as
went
his gun
down.
clearly goes off while he's pointing it at Andrew, and he clearly gets a good view of him immediately after.
Immediately afterwards, he went down, bro. Bro dropped into the thing after you shot. What did you think you did to him, bro? You knew you shot that nigga. You was scared.
The fact.
Be
Not to mention the
honest.
fact that Andrew literally told him over and over again that
I'm
he was
shot. He told
But for
him,
many,
bro.
by far the most incriminating moment
Is
was when
looking
Feaster
for the
appeared
shell
to be looking
cases.
for his shell casings. And because of his actions,
Wow.
Officer Patrick Feaster would be found guilty of manslaughter and receive a prison sentence of 180 days.
Okay. I thought they were about to say 180 years. I was finna say that is a little excessive. Cause I know the last nigga didn't get 180 years. He just got life, which is like technically speaking less time. But only 3 months is that? No, it's like 6 months, I think. Six months in prison for killing a nigga is crazy.
A decision that was heavily contested but ultimately upheld. And while no one is defending Andrew Thomas's decision to drink and drive that night, Feaster's use of deadly force and his blatant attempt at covering it up make this footage harrowing nonetheless.
Why even reach for your gun? He's not a threat at that point. There are many who believe that the officer Feaster essentially shot Andrew that gay. It is difficult to explore this theory without being able to show the full footage. So I recommend looking up the case for yourself and drawing your own conclusion. Yeah, you can't really see the nigga get shot and all that extra shit. But I did see the gun go off. I definitely seen that. Now personally, just from the way it looked like he just like, it's not like he bow, you know what I'm saying? But he did shoot twice. That's my only thing. If you shot once, happened to strike him in the neck, whatever. He shot twice and looked for his shell casings immediately after to cover his ass. So I don't know, bro. That's a tough one, bro.
I do this for real, bro. I don't got no problem with giving back, man. I'm the only one out here with a show that's actually giving back.
Young QC gives back.
It's May 2013. 23-year-old Qaw'mane Wilson arrives at his local bank in Chicago, Illinois.
I was finna say, nigga, is this O Block?
23-year-old Qaw'mane Wilson arrives at his local bank in Chicago, Illinois to deposit $20,000 cash, which he planned on giving out to groups of his
Meant to
most
say
adoring
withdraw? Okay.
Illinois.
He got on the Hermes belt. Yeah, I know he got money.
to deposit $20,000 cash, which he planned on giving out to groups of his most adoring fans.
Man, about to go get this $1,000 out for the fans, man. Really, I'm gonna take out 20,000, man, just to show people. You feel me? I'm on a whole different level with this.
To this point, Qaw'mane had carved out a respectable following on his YouTube channel, where he acted in a series called The Nick Story.
One more word out your mouth, and that's your ass. That's your life. I'm gonna take it myself and put it in my graveyard with the rest of them.
Along with posting music he made under the name Young QC.
Out her song, but not until she's. I know she will. I'm gonna get you.
Based on his viewership alone, his success was apparent. And
Okay.
he wasn't shy about showing off the wealth that he claimed to have accrued as a result of it, posting photos and videos of himself flaunting large amounts of cash across his social media pages.
See, that'd be the problem. Like, niggas get money and they just can't stop posting it. A nigga will really lick you. It don't matter how gangster you is. A gun is a gun at the end of the day. And your gun can get beat by my gun. Just because you got a chopper don't mean I can't hit you in the head with this gin and you not gonna die. You feel what I'm saying? So
But this video was by far his most
Stay
boastful
humble.
yet, as he would take that $20,000 and throw it into the air for all of his fans to fight over.
I wouldn't have did it like this.
With Qaw'mane clearly relishing in the opportunity to show off his riches, despite the fact that behind the scenes, things weren't quite as they seemed.
What I
The
mean, he
truth
was broke.
Qaw'mane had actually earned very little from his channel despite its viewership, with this being on account of his videos containing copywritten music, and the fact that he only had a dozen or so uploads. In fact, his social media flexing had started well before he even made his first video, as in reality, all of this money was coming straight from his mother, Yolanda
Wow.
Holmes. Having started a successful business.
You see what I'm saying? Niggas be trying to, niggas, like, the nigga was literally going broke, trying to push an image that he's rich. Y'all, if you down, bro, ain't nothing wrong with being down. It's not about where you at, it's where you going. Ken Carson said that in his song. I mean, I've heard that many times before, but shout out Ken Carson. That was a factual bar. It's not about where you at, bro. It's about where you going. Because at the end of the day, bro, LeBron James, one of the richest athletes ever. Probably the richest athlete, the richest active athlete. You feel what I'm saying? And he came from nothing. He was broke. Kai Cenat, the richest streamer ever. One of the richest streamers ever. Shout out my nigga XQC. Aiden Ross too. Satchel Speed too. But came from nothing. You feel what I'm saying? I literally watched Speed come up. Quite literally, bro. Cause I felt like I related to him so much. Cause he was my age. He still is my age. But he was my age, bro. Was 15, 16, doing backflips in his room. 100K subs, hit a little backflip. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I fuck with that. But he wasn't always rich, bro. Like, and it's not necessarily, I don't think he came from nothing. You feel what I'm saying? But he wasn't always, you feel me?
Business in Chicago,
Having.
Yolanda made a great living for herself and Qaw'mane. And being her only son, Qaw'mane was given just about anything he could have asked for.
Yeah.
She would buy him designer clothes, jewelry, and even the Mustang seen in this video. But for Qaw'mane, it never seemed to be enough. He wanted to achieve a life of fame and riches, and he used his
Work
mother's
for it,
finances
bro.
to sell the illusion that he already had.
But why not take your mother's, like, see what I'm saying? Niggas not thinking. Why not take your mother's money and invest it into your business? Buy a new camera. Buy some editing software so that you could stop putting copyrighted music in your videos. Buy a computer. Buy a new mic. Buy some better Wi-Fi so that you can upload your videos. Buy some promotion. Not exactly sure what promotion was looking like back in whenever this was, but it's a million things to do, bro. put money into your business so that when you are rich, so that when you could become rich from your business. Why spend money on designer when you're struggling?
asking her again and again to purchase him things that could help him sell this dream, until one day, it all came crashing down when Yolanda would tragically lose her life. Just like that, Qaw'mane's entire support system had fallen out beneath his feet, leaving him without his mother and without the provider who was funding his entire life. But strangely, this didn't seem.
And I low key feel like that was God. Like I feel like I don't know. Like I don't even know how to say this without it sounding crazy. All respects to her, obviously, and to him too. He was probably just young. Feel what I'm saying? 20, 19, however old he is, just trying to, you know, people make fun of you for being broke, which is a fact. People make fun of you for being broke all the time. He probably just wasn't trying to. You feel me? It's understandable why he was doing what he was doing. But I feel like at some point, I feel like he's kind of responsible for God taking his mother away because he was so lenient and so dependent on her. And I feel like God was just trying to show him, bro, like nobody's here forever. Maybe there was some lesson that was for her to learn too. Nobody's here forever, and you should be independent and have your own legs beneath you and be your own support system. You shouldn't always rely on somebody else to support you. You feel what I'm saying? Get a job, nigga. You feel me?
To stop his lavish online presence. In fact, his spending only seemed to increase after this, as this footage of him
Spend
giving
all
away
his mama
money to
money.
fans actually took place after the death of his mother, which became extremely off-putting for law enforcement, as Yolanda hadn't simply passed away, and instead,
She was
she'd
murdered.
been brutally murdered.
Did that
Qaw'mane
nigga
had learned something.
Did that nigga kill his mama for designer clothes and an image? Did this nigga get told no one time and killed his mama? I hope not, bro.
Murdered. Qaw'mane had learned something shortly before Yolanda's passing, that not only were his mother's savings entirely willed to him, but she had also taken out 2 life insurance policies, in which he was the sole beneficiary. And despite Yolanda giving him anything that he could have asked for, it seemed that by this point, Qaw'mane had simply grown tired of having to ask. And so, on September 2nd, 2012, he would offer his friend Eugene Spencer $3,500 to kill his own mother. Eugene accepted.
Bro, that's so slimy, bro. That's so slimy, bro. That's so slimy, bro. That's so slimy, bro. Like, this is, bro, money is the root of all evil, bro. This nigga slimed out his mother so that he can get her money that he already had. Wow, bro. Wow, bro. Your son that you nurtured, that you carried for 9 months, his daddy probably don't give a fuck about him. You feel what I'm saying? His daddy don't give a shit about that nigga. But his mother was there for him, bro. And he gave a nigga $3,500 to slime his mother out and kill her. $3,500. Niggas are catching bodies for $3,500, bro. Lil Durk out here giving niggas M's.
Did the
for
offer,
bodies,
and
allegedly.
that night he would travel to the apartment of Yolanda Holmes late at night, where he entered her room and shot her multiple times as she slept. At the time, her boyfriend had been sleeping next to her, and despite jumping up and doing his best to fight off the attacker, Eugene would eventually beat him unconscious before fleeing the scene. Eugene would call Qaw'mane immediately after the attack to tell him that the job was done, but rather than feeling any sort of guilt, Qaw'mane instead had no emotion, and he simply stated, "Make sure the bitch is dead."
This is a Hall of
And
Fame
so
menace to
Eugene
society,
went back
bro.
up to that unit, this time brandishing a knife, and repeatedly stabbed Yolanda until he was absolutely certain she was gone. And with that,
So,
Eugene went back up to that. Qaw'mane instead had no emotion, and he simply stated, "Make sure the bitch is dead." And so
the
Eugene went back up to that unit, this time brandishing a knife, and repeatedly stabbed Yolanda until he was absolutely certain she was gone. And with that, Qaw'mane Holmes was a rich man, and it only cost him the life of his own mother.
he don't
For a
even give a
moment, the
fuck.
crime had worked perfectly. The police were left with no concrete leads as to who might have killed Yolanda, and the public largely believed that it was her boyfriend, whom Eugene had knocked unconscious. But no one even thought to look at Qaw'mane. And recognizing that he was in the clear, his behavior grew brazen almost immediately.
Qaw'mane Wilson lost his mother to gun violence on November 14th.
My mother, she was a neighborhood woman. A guy entered her home, and murdered her, just to steal.
As he went on TV to talk about his mother's murder, where he peddled the theory to the public that this was some sort of botched robbery, all the while he showed no emotion. He wouldn't even wait a full week before depositing the money, as he took out $90,000 within just the first few days, and immediately began showing it off to his followers. And in this footage where he gave away that $20,000, throwing it into the air as if it meant nothing to him, every cent of that had come from the death of his own mother, a death in which he was entirely responsible for.
Wow.
It would take over a full year for Qaw'mane and Eugene to be caught, with police largely being tipped off by his online antics. And in the end, Eugene was given a 100-year prison sentence, while Qaw'mane received 99 years.
Perfect. Go sit in there with his little bitch ass. Yup, get that nigga 100 years, and you go sit in there with his bitch ass. We'll give you one less, because you ain't actually catch the body, but murder for hire is a crime, too. They should have gave him the chair.
In a 100-year prison
They
sentence,
should have gave bro the chair.
while Qaw'mane received 99 years. With his legacy now permanently defined by his creation of one of YouTube's darkest videos.
Wow. That was a good outro. That was a great outro. That was a great video, bro. Nick Crowley's videos are so freaking good. They're so good, bro. Damn, I was reacting to that for an hour. Shout out to Nick Crowley. Shout out to you. If you watched all the way to the end, like the video. My bad. Like the video. Subscribe. Comment which story was the craziest to you. I think that's it. Y'all stay safe out there, bro. If this video did not teach you anything, let it teach you to not trust anybody, bro. With anything. That's crazy. His own mother. He killed his own mother for money. Not even just killed her. When he got the phone call that the job was done, he said, go back and make sure the bitch is dead. Wow. That's the craziest shit I ever heard in my life.